These are Farsports C5 wheels. On paper, they are among the most competitive wheels right now. So what makes them so special? How do they ride compared to other, more expensive wheels? And how did they survive a 10 km descent on a flat tire? I will tell you this and much more in this review. Hi, Petr from CyclistSHUB.com here. I reviewed a lot of Chinese carbon wheels, so I was naturally skeptical when I heard about the Farsports 2025 wheel lineup and the promises that they would disrupt the market. But I have to give Farsports credit. When I first saw their specifications and pricing, I immediately thought other manufacturers might be in trouble. Why, you ask? Well, check out the following table. Farsports wheels for 2025 are divided into C and S series. The C series differs from the S series mainly in terms of steel Alpina ultralight spokes, not carbon ones, weight and price. Despite steel spokes, the 50mm C5 wheels weigh only 1330 grams. That's pretty cool if you ask me. Both series are also available in Evo versions, where you can pay extra for ceramic bearings from Ceramic Speed. However, if you are not a weight weenie, I would recommend sticking with steel bearings due to the better price-performance ratio. In my opinion, the C series best meets these criteria. The C5 specifications are better on paper than many of the carbon spoke wheels I've tested so far. But before I tell you how they performed, let me share the results of my in-house tests. Out of the box, which by the way feels more premium than the one I received with Farsports Venue S wheels a few years back and also includes travel wheel bags, I checked their trueness and spoke tension. Both wheels were trued fine. Only in one place on the rear wheel I did observe a deviation of less than 0.5 mm. The spoke tension of the rear wheel was attacking perfection. On the front wheel I encountered 3 spokes outside the 5% limit from the average, but they still easily met the 10% limit. The results of dishing, in other words how well centered the hubs are, were the most surprising. The rear wheel hub was not perfectly centered. The gap between the dishing pin and the hub end cap reached almost 1 mm. This doesn't affect the ride characteristics. I just wanted to demonstrate that even in Farsports, they are not perfect. Next, I also used the endoscope to look inside the rims. They looked clean and smooth. I found no epoxy residue, wrinkles or anything else. You can find more photos in my written article, just scan this QR code. C5 wheels are tubeless ready and don't need tubeless rim tape, because they have no rim bed holes. So as always, I try to put on 2.4 Contura 40R 28mm tires, this time brand new ones. I didn't need tire levers for the rear wheel when putting them on, but I needed them for the front wheel. I can't explain this because both wheels have the same rim width and rim profile. Maybe a bad tire tolerance, who knows? Considering the 24mm internal rim width, I expected issues when seating them using a regular floor pump. And I was right, I couldn't see them with it and I had to use an air compressor. Everything went smoothly with it because I pressured it to 8 bars, removed the valve core and used a wider nozzle for better airflow. This method is basically foolproof. The first time I rode these wheels was in Italy at Lake Como. The plan was for about a 2-hour ride, which ended up stretching to over 4 hours. Our vanity failed us and instead of turning around at the end of the asphalt section of the local hill, we continued on the gravel road up into the clouds. I wasn't alone. I went with a friend from Belarus who unfortunately didn't have repair kits, so when he got a puncture, I lent him my Ride Now tube. These are the 2.4 Contura 40R tires. I can't get a puncture, I bragged to him as he fixed his puncture. After the repair, we decided it would be wiser to turn around and go back. Drunk with confidence in my tires, I pushed the descent and got a puncture 500 meters later. So this adventure did not end up well, because the road was gravel and I got a puncture. Of course I had a spare tire, but I gave this spare tire to my friend. He is descending carefully over there. So yeah, I have to ride about 15 kilometers on this tire back to my car, and yeah, we will see how it ends up. Hopefully he won't get a puncture again. Still descending on a flat tire and yeah. Look, a goat.
A small update on my adventure. So I descended like 5 kilometers on completely flat tire, and as you can see, I'm using Farsports C5 wheels now, and they seem rock solid. So I cannot wait once I take off the tire and check all possible damage. But the road was basically gravel road. Now it's really rough tarmac, as you can see, so not the best for descending on a flat tire, but yeah, I have to say the views over there were absolutely worth it, and I love these adventures when you don't know what's happening next, so keep up the spirit.
So what happened to the rim? Apart from a few scratches, no major damage or cracks. I think this says a lot about their durability.
So I'm doing the inspection of these Farsports C5 wheels, and this is a place with the most damage, most visible damage. As you can see, here is a little scratch, but other than that, and a few occasional scratches, the wheels look almost like brand new, which is kind of surprising after a 10-kilometer descent on completely flat tire. So very impressed.
In terms of handling, they are more comfortable even on worse roads, especially in combination with 28mm and wider tires. I was surprised, however, that the C5 wheels are quite stiff despite their lightweight steel Alpina ultralight spokes. In a blind test, I would probably be unable to determine if I ride steel or carbon spoked wheels. That's how marginal the differences feel, at least to me, as I weigh only about 68 kilograms. Heavier riders could see a bigger difference. By the way, I recently published an article on the benefits and disadvantages of steel and carbon spokes. Make sure to check it out if you still can't decide which ones are better for you. I enjoyed more than enough crosswinds during this autumn. However, these wheels are stable and behave predictably. The same is true at higher speeds, over 60 kilometers and more. Of course, they are still 50mm deep, so you have to be careful in crosswinds. It's not like you are holding the handlebar and don't feel nothing. You still have to be pretty careful. I'm sure you are interested in comparison with the Elite Wheels dry wheels, which cost more or less the same and are one of my favorite wheels for climbers. So what's the verdict? I still find dry wheels a little bit more agile. I don't know how it is possible and how they achieve such a low inertia, but the acceleration on them is still better. I notice it most on steep climbs or at intersections. We are still talking about marginal differences that you will notice when riding the wheels side by side. The differences between Chinese carbon wheels are gradually blurring. Most established Chinese brands already produce first-class wheels, and the differences is seen more in customer support and service. Honestly, there is not much to fault about these wheels. Oh wait, I have a few things. They just don't feel that they can maintain momentum as well as other heavier wheels. Again, it's just a feeling, and we are still talking about marginal differences. This can be a disadvantage if you live in a rolling terrain, so the speed you gain from a short descent won't last as long when you start climbing again. Another thing is the outer rim width, which is 30.4mm. The trend for road wheels in 2024 seems to be 30mm or more. For example, the Reserve or Envy wheels used by Visma Lease a Bike and UAE Team Emirates respectively are even wider. Therefore, the question arises whether Farsports wheels are future-proof enough. In my opinion, yes, but in 2 years, I may say otherwise. We will see where the market goes from here. It would also be nice to see an aerodynamic comparison with other Western or Chinese wheels, but I understand it costs a lot of money, so it's better to have a cheaper wheel set than to have these tests reflected in the final price. The differences are in the orders of magnitude of lower watts anyway, so they are almost irrelevant for hobby riders, and professional teams they do their own tests. The new Farsports wheel range seems to be setting other brands on fire. They offer great specifications, often better than the more expensive Chinese wheels. Given Farsports' reputation, I think they will steal significant market share. My riding experience with C5 wheels has been positive. They are reasonably stiff and yet still comfortable. Their lightweight makes them ideal for frequent accelerations, such as during criteriums, or for climbing high mountains. Unless you are looking for ultra-wide rims, I believe they are worth considering. If you decide to purchase them, please consider using the discount code CYCLISTSHUB. It will give you $30 off and is the best way to support this channel. Thank you very much in advance. Anyway, I hope you find this review helpful. If you do so, please like and subscribe below. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one. Ciao!